and I will do the big finale, which is pretty similar to name association, except I'm going to give you names, and you can tell me whatever you want about them. You can tell me nothing about them if you want, but if there's a funny story to go with the name I give you, please mention it. And the first one is Jamie Dundee.
Jamie Dundee was a crazy, crazy kid, crazy character. I love Jamie. He was actually helpful to us in USWA on our second run. We went back as headbangers. Jamie's a good guy. I have no issues with him.
Did you ever share a car with him?
No.
No, because you would have like hi as a kite if you hadn't like rolled the windows down. So far as I can tell. The Mean Street Posse.
Mean Street Posse. Love him. I love Pete. I still talk to Pete. Pete actually lives about 10, 15 minutes away from me now down here in Florida. I still talk to Pete. Love those guys. I was with Pete down in Puerto Rico for a few months. No, Pete's awesome. Rodney's a great guy. And now you can get to know Rodney as well as I know Pete, but no, they're awesome.
Yeah. It's like when they came in, they were just Shane's friends. It's like, they've got the stupid sweater vests on everything, but you look at them and think, their arms are huge. They're like, yeah, their arms are bigger than half the like locker room. It was amazing.
Rodney was short but thick and stocky. I mean, Joey obviously was big. You know, he was trained by, you know, with Matt and Jeff and all them in North Carolina. But yeah, Pete's a big dude. I mean, he played football. And you know, Pete took it seriously. Like he really wanted to make a whole career out of it.
Yeah, good for him. Mabel.
Mabel's a good guy. I never really worked him, only hung out with him a few times. Glenn has a different experience with him down the road, but that's his story to tell, not mine. But yeah, as far as I know, he's a good guy.
Right, you're going to have to put me on to Glenn then, because I need to find that one out. It seems that every time I ask about Mabel, there's a funny story, and then I never hear it, because it must just be really bad. Like one time, it was, Viscera was in the Philippines. I think it was Nick Dinsmore, and they went, no, forget about it. Just moved it.
That's funny.
Just moved it. Bruiser Bedlam. Everybody's got a story about the Bruiser.
I don't have a Bruiser story.
Really?
I've never met him. Never met him.
I didn't realize he was gone at that point. I thought he was still there. Okay, I'll move on then. Kerrigan.
Kerrigan. Awkward. Nice enough person, just awkward. Just because he was so big. And I don't know, guys like that, some guys, they get so big, it's like they don't really know how to, again, this is my opinion, it seems like they don't really know how to use it or get around it. Just clumsy. But again, super nice guy.
The Eliminators, Saturn and Cronus.
Ooh. It's actually the first time I've ever been knocked out was by Perry in the ring where I saw stars. I knew Perry threw a very stiff clothesline, and I did the rookie mistake of trying to bump a split second early. And when I did, he came up and just caught me right in the jaw, and it hit my head, and I rolled out, and I was like, whoa, where am I? But yeah, no, we had fun with them down in Memphis. Actually, when we left Memphis, they took over our apartment. Yeah, no, when Perry came back up, he was the same old Perry. Him and John they were fun. They were good guys to work.
Sable.
Interesting. That's all I got.
Oh, you. Well, someone else interesting. Sunny.
Yeah, interesting. Very, very, very interesting.
Was this should I press further, or should I just move on?
You can press all you want. I'm staying with very, very, very interesting. I love Sunny to death. I love Tammy. But yeah,
I know. I would actually like to interview her. I doubt she'd want to talk to me though. There's an off-war one. Yamaguchi-san.
Yamaguchi-san. I don't really have an opinion.
Nope. Okay. Terry Taylor.
Terry was good. Terry was a good guy. He was a good agent for us. He was always helpful. And, you know, when he saw things, he would talk to us about it, and we needed help, we'd go to him, and he was always there. He's a good guy.
Was he always an agent, or did he have other roles other than agenting, like maybe Jack Lanza or somebody?
Yeah, no, he was always more or less an agent. He would, you know, do agent stuff. He would help behind the scenes with TV stuff and interviews and stuff like that. Kind of had his hands in a bunch of different pots.
Chyna.
Awesome. she was just awesome. If you needed something, she was there. Another person who, and again, I say that a lot of people you're going to hear me say in that locker room would give you the shirt off their back because that's the kind of atmosphere we had. But she was just awesome. I didn't have kids, but Glenn had his daughters. He would bring the girls and she would sit down and play with them. I'd go and work out with her. My bicep workout I do is actually from her. I did arms with her. I did legs with her once I did legs with her because I couldn't walk for a week and a half when I got done. But she was such a sweetheart. She was just unbelievable.
Give me the bicep workout. What was it?
Basically it was lower weights, more controlled. And then she gave me different angles on the bench to hold my arm. And I never really did hammer curls. She got me doing hammer curls instead of just regular curls because it hits different part of the bicep. And I never really had a bicep or like a peak on it. And once I started doing her stuff, I got a little one, a little peak on my bicep.
I'll give you a couple more, and then I promise you I'll shut it down. Kevin Dunn.
Kevin was good. I mean, didn't really have a lot of interaction with him because he was more behind the scenes stuff. But if we went to Kevin with something we, wanted to do and try to get on TV, he was always accommodating and was like, all right, make sure the camera guys were there. But I had no issues with Kevin whatsoever. He was always good to us.
Balls Mahoney.
John is interesting. Not interesting like Sable or Tammy, but so John was at the Monster Factory. John went through the Monster Factory also. And I think it was probably my first real match. So afterwards there was this like a diner called the Silver Lake Inn right down the street, and everyone went there afterwards. So I was standing there and my mom was there, and my mom looked young, and John comes walking up out of nowhere and he's like, hey, how you doing? He's like, did I ever tell you about the green shit coming out of my dick? And I went, hey, John, let me introduce you to my mom. And he was like, and I was like, where's that come from? Like, how the fuck do you walk up to a table and that's your opening line to people you don't even know? Yeah, so that was John. John was interesting.
I speak to Johnny Candido quite a lot, and he's told me so many stories about Balls Mahoney, not Balls. Did you ever meet Chris Candido then?
Yes, I've met Chris plenty of times. Yeah. Chris was a sweetheart.
That's what I hear from everybody. A couple more, then we will shut down. Mike Chioda.
Chioda was a fun dude. We both grew up in South Jersey. It was funny, before I was even with WWF, I'd drive by Willingboro, and there was always a WWF truck out there, just parking lot. I never understood why, and it was the ring truck. So yeah, we hung out with Chioda a lot. He was fun. He was a good dude.
Yeah, he's a good time because he's got the deepest smoker's voice, so he
Yes.
likes to party.
Yes.
Michael Hayes.
Michael was good. He was helpful at times. Once he got with the Hardys, his help kind of went away because he was focused on just getting Matt and Jeff over, which kind of sucked for the rest of us. But no, Michael was very helpful, at first. Yeah, Michael's a good guy.
It's always a smile that's given it something hidden away behind that smile. But I won't press you too much for it. And the last one, Ron Simmons.
Ron is just a quiet enforcer without having to say anything. He's like and this is nothing taken away from the real Godfather, but Ron's like the Godfather of locker room. Like, him and Bradshaw were great because Bradshaw was the loud, outlandish, I don't want to say obnoxious one, but he was the louder one. And Ron just kind of sat back, like his whole damn. Like, you just sat there, like that was his whole personality. And the way he said, damn, you knew if it was good or bad, but it was always the same way. But no, Ron was, if you had, questions or advice, you would go over and he would tell you. He never went out of his way to let you know. But if you wanted to sit down and talk to him, he's great. And still to this day, when you run into him, he's one of the sweetest guys.
Did he ever, before The Rock was doing it, did he ever tell you to know your role?
No.
No, well, you've got away with it then. Damn.